Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of Divergent Justice. We're exploring today on the Green Festival the fallout of what happened after the cancellation of the bans on the Monday and the subsequent cancellation of the whole event. We'll be looking at how the bands felt about the cancellation. We're looking at how the ticket holders felt. We'll be looking at some of the communications between us and the festival organisers. We'll look at some other posts that were on Facebook. We'll look at the whole response of On the Green to every single matter that's been brought forward. And of course, we'll be exploring the way that they spoke to people on Facebook in an unprofessional manner in regards to this matter. So, welcome to Divergent Justice episode 2. Justice is coming. When they did announce that the Monday was cancelled, the way they did it was they put a Facebook post out, and now Facebook posts really minimise the text, so you have to make sure your announcement is inside of the picture really, otherwise it gets missed. And the way it came across was announcement, tickets selling out fast. Wait a minute. In fact, there's loads of promotion that says tickets selling out fast. It was all a ruse, all a lie, but it's not one that's uncommon in the industry. But the announcement just said, announcement, tickets selling out fast. Not announcement, bans cancelled on the Monday, announcement, Monday pulled. Nothing like that. You had to go up and hit read more. I mean, let me show you it. Here it is. This is what it says. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. And in the big letters, announcement, the tickets are selling really fast. We're running out of tickets. So you just quickly skip by this because you just think that it's every single promoter out there announces the week before their event, tickets are selling out. I do it myself. But we hit more. This is what we get. Hello everyone, we hope you're doing well and getting excited for On the Green. We wanted to share an important update with you. After careful consideration, we've made the difficult decision to scale the event down to 2 days instead of 3. Unfortunately, Monday ticket sales have been extremely low, which has made it unforeseeable to continue with the full weekend as originally planned. The good news, everyone's coming Saturday and Sunday, and if you have brought weekend tickets, you're still getting great value for your ticket price. It remained lower than it would if you'd purchased each day individually. Wrong here, but I think you guys need to have a read and think and see what you think and how you interpret this sentence. But I interpret this as that not only are bands being cancelled for the Monday, if you did buy weekend tickets, they're just like, oh well, it's a little bit cheaper than Saturday and Sunday. So despite you thinking you pay for 3 days entertainment, you're now paying for 2, and they're just like, oh it's fine, but we're gonna give you less entertainment for the money. Wow. So it's not just local musicians. This is now rolling out to a bigger issue affecting people who brought tickets. I really hope they're offering full refunds if people aren't agreeing to this new deal that they've set up. 2 days for the price of 3. Yeah, this wasn't a decision we made lightly, based on feedback and the reality that many people were returning to work on the Tuesday after the bank holiday. We believe a 2-day event would ultimately work. That's really the main point. Best for everyone and give you a day to unwind before the week starts. I think in reality it's because tickets weren't selling well. We truly appreciate your support in our first year and can't wait to welcome you. Set time to be announced in the next week, so be sure to follow us on social media for updates. See, it's all quite a good message, but it was the fact of just, it's not as transparent as it should have been. I think the thing about the transparency is they should have allowed probably bands to promote more. Promote their own stuff, create their own images if need be, just to really get the word out there in that last ditch attempt before just cancelling the Monday. But certainly this could have been delivered in a much better way. So now we're going to look at a couple of the comments that were given to me by some of the ticket holders once they found out that the day had been reduced down to 2. The questions I was asking on the forum: the festival's cancelled the Monday lineup, reduce the event to 2 days, but it's not offering refunds for 3-day weekend. So they were offering refunds potentially for the Monday. I haven't been able to go to any Monday ticket holders, so there is every chance that they would have offered a refund if you just had a Monday ticket or maybe transferred it, but I had no one to corroborate that story. And then obviously on their statement they said if you had a 3-day ticket you still have a 2-day ticket for cheaper. That was their response, the 3-day for 2. And I asked people what their thoughts and feelings on this, losing a full day's of entertainment with no reduction in the ticket costs. This is quite a clear thing. I was asking in fact, they are not offering refunds for 3-day or weekend tickets, which they're not. They weren't offering a refund. They just said you can just go to this event. That's what it was coming out as. What are your thoughts? Honestly disgusted. we're local to Peterborough, so mainly brought the tickets to see the local bands, but also so we had something to do over the weekend. We saw the announcement and expected some kind of compensation / refund for the loss of the third day, but as of yet we're still to receive any confirmation of that. And they'll obviously get the money back now because the event's been cancelled. They would have taken a refund or a part refund for cancellation. They said they had low Monday ticket sales, which they said was a bit off considering they were selling full weekend tickets, which from how the social media posts are written and the absolute years they've been selling well. It really did look online like everything was selling really well. However, winning the impression of the weekend in general isn't selling well with how much the festival are posting about offers and deals involving tickets. Maybe that's the case, I can't speculate. All I can say is what one of the headline acts told me, which is they only sold a certain amount of tickets. Yeah, they're gutted about the Monday. As much as we were looking forward to a bit of 90s, noughties nostalgia, they're mostly going for the local bands we've seen several times over the years. There's a few people who will be doing this. We're about supporting local artists. I feel sorry for them in this situation. How do you feel it was handled? Very poorly. We do feel we've been taken advantage of and the organisers are just after our money. They don't seem to care about any concerns or questions we have or the annoyance we've posted online. And then simply put, if the festival attempts to make a return, we wouldn't return. So that's what some of the ticket holders are saying here. There's more online. Obviously, this is just going through some of these responses. So we're now going to check out some of the band's responses that they said on that form that I filled out. Let's see how they feel. I pause it, so I'm not going to read them all out. But essentially, these bands, some of them were approached. So some of them approached the festival. They were booked in one way or another. As you can see here, I was asking them, what does it mean to them to play the festival? One here said they're performing to a bigger audience than they normally do, which would be helpful to bring in better gigs in the future. I thought it was great. Another festival should do and proud to be part of something local that had good potential. We're hoping we could showcase our band to a wider audience and those who would attend the festival. It meant returning to Peterborough and helping support the local scene, especially when we know it's been suffering in recent years. This is about preparations they took specifically for the festival date. Nothing in particular apart from dealing with a lot of emails going backwards and forwards between us and the organisers. We normally have a lot of gigs on the diary, so this would have been just another one in terms of preparation, logistics, etc. All band members the reserved date and diaries, added it to all our gig promo website socials, tagged and shared. We did some more rehearsals and moved some work shifts around. They booked an extra time starting a local rehearsal studio as playing this festival, and we had 2 appearances over that weekend. We booked a hire vehicle to ensure we could attend both festivals in good time and also purchase supplies for spare kit in case they need for the weekend. How was communication from the festival organisers in the period up to the planned event? This is where things vary. The first one's quite intensive, always via email, in that they wanted a lot of information from us. It is straightforward for us to provide this as we've done for other festivals before. Wasn't bad apart from a weird message trying to get us to share more on socials with some kind of weird meta tagging thing I couldn't work out. I have investigated into this and they were trying to share business asset access and so sometimes you do that for agencies, but it's a bit odd for a festival to be doing it. Very poor communication. We were given a very little after the initial announcement. They asked for access to all the band's Facebook accounts advertised on their behalf. That wasn't quite right. The way that it works is you get access to certain business assets. It's not normal practice. Normal practice would be to send a media pack, and then from that media pack, the festival to create their own advertising from it. Very poor for the initial confirmation we were playing. We had 3 emails. 2 were about allowing a third-party company access to our Facebook profile to run promos, which never happened. And one was to tell us to remove a joke comment we placed on one of the festival's posts. We never received any emails about tech specs, riders, running times. That's what you'd expect from a festival at this point, to receive all of their details and riders, tech specs. Mine are all done way in advance. What guidance or instructions were given to you, the organiser, regarding the promoting your appearance on the Monday lineup? I've seen this email. It's already been on this in this video. They were told not to upload the date of the performance on social media, which day it was. Instead, we had to just announce we'd be playing the festival. The reason given was the organisers hoped people would buy tickets for all days if they didn't know which day we, and I guess the other acts, were playing on. The marketing strategy obviously is here to get the bands to advertise it, but then not say which day they're on so people would buy their weekend tickets. That is exactly what they said in their emails. They originally approached that playing on the Saturday. Later there were also the possibility of the Sunday, but then they got offered the slot on the Monday night. Because this all happened last October, we didn't have other gigs in the diary for that weekend at the time, so we were able to accommodate the change. We also jumped for a few hoops set up our Facebook page to link with theirs. This is a common thread. It is that meta tagging. It is bizarre that they're doing it that way, but some promotion companies do. It's just weird for a festival to be doing it. We were told we could only use the provided graphics, which we were never provided. Only the standard slide, which is all the band's names on it. When we posted the image of the four of us and their logo, they were instantly told to take it down because it wasn't something they provided to us. They never replied to us when we asked for them to provide material for us to advertise with. The only focus was on the big headliners. We were asked to provide a photo of the band, but that was never used, nor was any of the graphics given back to us to use. We were told not to advertise our Monday slot until advised to do so. This is the common thing, they were told not to advise that Monday slot. Also, we could try and sell weekend tickets. They never received confirmation we could actually advertise the local bands are playing on the Monday. We just adapted our post to show the local bands poster, the festival place. That was singular poster. Yeah, that's why I'm asking directly now. Were they told and asked not to promote your performance, share set times, or even mention where you were playing when you were playing the festival? If so, what reasons were given? And they also mentioned the same things. This one person was told to take down an advert due to not being official branding. They were told, and I quote from the email, "We do ask that you don't announce what date you are on, as we were pushing the weekend ticket. So we believe that weekend ticket holders will cover Monday as well, and hopefully be a good crowd for us to play to. We had fans who would be coming down as well as friends and family." We were told not to promote. We were playing the festival, but not when we could be playing. So they were told to promote. There are definitely clear instructions to promote the participation in the festival, to become co-hosts of the event. There's this weird thing about the meta linking. We will look into that, but I don't think there's much more to it. I just think it's a certain PR company's strategy, and it was an external company. They weren't like trying to access their Facebook maliciously. It was all done through the correct channels. Someone said that when they released it, said they didn't feel like they had to pay for a full weekend. So yeah, basically the whole thing was just to get them to buy the weekend tickets rather than singular day tickets. We all expected, did the adequately support promote the Monday lineup? No one said yes. Someone said they shared the flyer, but could have been pushed more on the backgrounds music of acts playing. No, we noticed a distinct lack of support for the local bands when compared to the big acts and tribute bands playing. We counted around 2 to 3 posts for local bands, but none of the bands were either tagged or focused on. It shows when they consider whether it was the local band's fault for this cancellation of the Monday. I think that's what they really need to look at, is did they advertise it well enough? Did they push it well enough? Some of the names on that would bring in a lineup and do at so many different festivals all around this county and this city. So they would have definitely brought people. And as I said, you saw the ticket thing. They should have advertised it better, and that's the answer. They were told it was cancelled on the 27th, especially on the 29th. Yeah, but initially they were understanding, but disappointed overall. They were asked to play another day. No one seems to have taken that offer. You can read these if you want. People are angry because all bands were not given any warning or a chance to properly advertise and help push up ticket sales. So it could have really helped if they just let the bands advertise the way that bands do. Yeah, all the comments going around from both bands and fans became quite angry and frustrated about how the organisers handled the situation. There was no warning over the months that this was coming. They kept saying ticket sales were going so well, and as I've shown you on that other slide, they've told headliners of the opposite information at one point, or a headliner. Yeah, there you go, low ticket sales for cancelling the Monday. Disappointed, we do not believe this. There still would have been people attending on the Monday if they have been pushing a 3-day weekend tickets. Yeah, I agree, if these 3-day weekend tickets have been selling, then definitely people should have been coming. They're constantly posting and continue to do so. The tickets are selling well for the whole weekend. Obviously, we don't know the numbers of tickets released for the full weekend, but surely if the festival is selling tickets as well as they are, then Monday wouldn't be affected. I guess the answer after today is that they weren't selling tickets very well. This is about them. Did they contact them to offer them a slot on the other days? Everyone said yes, but nothing was ever followed up with that, and they couldn't play them. The details are here. That's my cat. What does this say? The date. So we just asked if we could play on either day. They said they could work around us in terms of timings, but we have other gigs in the diary. I think everyone was busy. It's a busy weekend. We assumed the original payment offer of $150 would still be valid. Some people were offered money, some people weren't. Yeah, there we go. Read through those. People weren't available. That's the answer. How has it impacted bands? We don't lose money as a band because we don't invest in advertising the festival or incur any costs. But as late notice, they can't get another gig. I think that's the biggest thing. People can't get another gig. Have a look through this. Feel free to pause it. There you go. That last band seems really heavily affected by it. Here's the thing about payment. How would you feel about the situation regarding payment, especially if you were scheduled to play without fee? Considering tickets were being sold for the event, if you were to be paid, please comment on the situation. Firstly, I always ask for a fee. Secondly, the organisers never asked us to play for free. It was never on the table. We had agreed to a reduced fee, albeit not a large reduction, which they were happy about. Notwithstanding, it was a shock to learn today that some of the other bands were not being paid, which I think sets a poor precedence with the organisers. I think they can get away with it, given they were charging for tickets. The only festival we have were ever done for free was Strawberry Fair, which is a lot bigger in terms of, it doesn't say a lot, but it is a lot bigger in terms of reputation and audience. We felt it was worth it for experience and to promote the band at the time. We weren't being paid for the show. They were paying £150 the ones before. Paid for the show, but we hoped the bands would be compensated or given something. We were asked what our fee for appearances are when we initially contacted, which we supplied. After that, there was no mention of payment or how the festival were going to handle it. I've seen quite a few of these confirmations, and on none of the confirmations is of financial value. Yeah, there's mixed messages, definitely. No one would play the festival again. Local musicians were penalised for advertising and told not to announce the day they were playing. It was very much they wanted to advertise the main headliners and not care about the local bands. We felt like we weren't wanted and treated poorly. Lack of communication, not allowed to advertise, was very impacting. The next festival shown they did not care about local bands. When first announced the local bands, they spelled the names of a few acts wrong. Surely if you want to promote a local band, you double and triple check the spelling. And they've constantly failed to communicate with the bands despite the constant posting on their social media. They've come across as very rude on their social platforms and in their emails. They've told bands not to do certain things or to take comments or post down on their own socials because the festival did not agree to how it was handled. You can pause and read the rest of that. There's no support for local bands. Yeah, the aftermath, they've heard nothing. People understand it's difficult, and I agree it is difficult. But yeah. So it's all right. There was a lot of notice, but I'm not sure I'd feel as someone if they had a full weekend ticket. And the other thing I feel sorry for the most, the ones who had a full weekend ticket. It's all right now because it's refunded, but at the time, it wasn't ideal. This is another one. They've either ignored, deleted, or blocked fans who've called them out, rather than try and communicate with them. They've not contacted us or the other bands since the cancellation. They've not offered any compensation or responded to our email about the cancellation fee we are now charging them. We've also noticed they are stating the ticket prices will be going up in 6 to 7 days, which is frankly disgusting, seeing as they're still charging people the same money for a 3-day event now. It's only 2. And fans who have brought tickets for either the weekend or the Monday are still waiting responses on the refunds. So yeah, I think that's a key thing. It's all marketing. That's really the answer. I think the answer is marketing. The reduced ticket, the free tickets for kids if you brought over that week, and then the price going up. It's all a marketing strategy for tickets that weren't selling, and that's why I think it got cancelled. I could be wrong, but that's my personal opinion on it. We've got to look at the facts though, and the facts are here. Well, not here. This is more opinions. Given the number of festivals that I know have been cancelled this year, it came as no big surprise. Mixed messages to acts isn't good. You can pause that, read the rest. We only apologise to the fans who bought tickets as a way of coming to see all the local bands as well as support local music, and feel for all bands who poured extra work into making sure they had everything in place. We want to express a massive wave of gratitude to everyone who supported the messages from all the bands, and also to the local venues and promoters who are working all of this. Pause it and have a read. So that's the responses. But just that, the rest is all coming from bands, put on Facebook, put on messages. It's crazy what's going on. Actually, I approach them for comment. Whenever you do a news story or a piece, an entertainment piece about somebody, especially when it involves something like this, it's really, really, really important that you try and get every side of the story. So I obviously approached them for comment, and I did it with very, very respectfully. But the way they responded was anything but respectful. Here's their response. I was writing them an email that explained that we were trying to contact them, just trying to get a comment on what we were about to report. And I received this. I said, "Hi Jordan, I've been made aware of the emails you're sending out." Just for reference, I sent only one email out. Everyone else was contacted via Instagram or Facebook, as you've seen from the screenshots. Below, please see our statement we issued. That's all you need to know. So this statement is exactly the same that you saw on the post. You can pause to read it if you'd like. I then responded with the email I was originally intending to send to read all this out. So pause it if you like. But essentially, it goes on to say that I kind of don't feel like what they've put in the statement addresses the specific questions I have. I mentioned they only sent one DJ. That's the only person who got emailed. Everything else contacted somewhere else. Explained who we are. Explained it was standard journalistic practice and customary and importance to reach the subject of a story. So comment to ensure balanced and comprehensive reporting as always. So I formally offered them the opportunity to provide comment on these points. So I'll read some of these out. So regarding the initial booking of the local bands, while local acts originally approached with a view to being booked on the Saturday or Sunday lineups, and was the decision to feature local bands for only the Monday made at a later stage? If so, what was the reason for this? I mean, you can pause it. I'm not going to read them all out. I mean, these were just questions that have come up on social media comments. These weren't the facts, but they were parts of the story that are being covered. You can pause and read that. And you can pause and read that. Obviously, I just want their full response, so I can put it in. They responded with this. Unfortunately, I won't be taking time to answer your questionnaire, as I'm not sure who or where you're getting your false information from, but as provided, we've made our statement. Thanks. So I responded, thank you for your prompt reply. I'm saddened to hear that you've declined to answer specific questions. You mentioned that you're unsure as to where we're getting information from, so I stated my sourcage. Most is publicly accessible information, such as their own official website and social media, discussions on community social media pages around Peterborough, and direct account from bands, as you've already seen in this. Or are going to see. I don't know where else I can put this in. It's the fun of editing. Yeah, there you go, to the regional concerns. I was trying to really talk them into saying, look, we really would like to hear from you. The point is, I wanted this to be a fair piece that involves their point. And, as always, there's two sides to the story. They could have replied to this, and there might have been a complete other side, and I'd have reported that. Here you go, look at this. Once again, we've made our statement and said the reasons to why. This is where it gets changes and starts to become quite unprofessional. Unfortunately, we don't have time for everyone just willing to bash people, unless they've seen our video, and events, especially when we had no choice to cancel a day due to ticket sales. And this is the key bit. If a day does not have ticket sales due to the lineup, that speaks volumes. What is that supposed to mean? Is that supposed to mean the lineup was bad? The local bands are bad? I mean, you're talking about local bands that have been playing the local area with the massive crowds coming, weekly followings, hardcore, dedicated fans across this whole area, and you're just there saying that the tickets didn't sell because of them. We've already gone through some of these reasons. They weren't allowed to say what day they were playing, when they were playing. They weren't allowed to advertise. Some of their advertisements were told to be taken down. They were told to advertise the event, and they were told to put things up, but they were also told to hand over their access. There's only business asset access. Oh, you've seen this, or are going to see this. But yeah, they certainly did. They certainly didn't allow bands to publish like the day they were playing, and it kind of let bands not able to really push. Yeah, eventually they did start pushing for advertising, and bands kind of tried to follow that. But it's just mixed messaging, complete mixed messaging. Also, there was assets sent. Not business assets through Facebook, but things like pictures and photos sent over to them that they just didn't use. They had ample opportunity to really, really push the fact that local bands are playing, but they chose not to, as demonstrated. Anyway, moving on. Just waiting to bash people. Anyway, I wish you all the best with your YouTube channel. Maybe with, as you say, years of experience, maybe practice what you preach and take more time to be proactive than negative. When being very proactive, we've researched everything that we've posted, and most of the stuff we literally are speaking through the evidence in front of us, whether it's social media talks and we're just talking through the discourse, or whether we're talking from direct accounts from bands. I mostly do it whilst the information's on the screen from where I'm getting it from. So I responded. I'll pause there. I think that's the one I sent the first time. No, that is the response. You can have a read through that if you want. It's just me repeating the questionnaire. Let me get back up here so we can pause it. I think I was just literally talking through what happened. Give me a chance to pause. Okay. We'll go down again. I think I mentioned there, furthermore, your comment that if a day doesn't have ticket sales whose lineup that speaks volumes is particularly disheartening and, in my view, disingenuous. It dismisses the significant concerns raised by bands about alleged restrictions placed upon them regarding promoting their involvement in the festival. A big part of this story is in the event's attitude towards local acts, and to insinuate that the day was cancelled solely because the lineup completely negates and refuses to accept any wrongdoing in this situation. It's kind of how I feel right now. I repeated the questionnaire, so they had another opportunity to respond, and they responded with, "Hi, this has been passed to our legal team. Unfortunately, we've now been advised not to comment any further, as it's now in their hands." And I replied, "I'm sorry to hear that you felt the need to send this matter to your legal team. I understand the matter has been handed over to them, and they will not be providing any further comment at this time. Your responses have been noted. Should your legal team wish to contact me regarding this matter, they are welcome to do so at the following email address." There you go. I never heard from the legal team. I've actually given it this, why this didn't come out last week. I actually gave them 7 days to respond to me. It's quite customary. Everything I've said has been backed up by evidence as it's come out. None of it's defamation. Anything that's opinion is very clearly stated. It's an opinion. I'm autistic. I'm very careful of exactly what I say. And none of the opinions that were drawn from anything else but the discourse online from the bands that were going through this, through the evidence that's been provided to us, whether it's been through emails, whether it's been filling out the forms that we've put out. It's very disheartening when people act like this. Hang on, there's a couple more emails I should bring your attention to. I'm just asking about the cancellation, following up the previous communication regarding the cancellation on the Green. I'm not going to read it all out. Respect to their decision, they declined to further comment, but I did want to know if they had any comments in relation to what we were going to print today about the cancellation. So we put there, would you like to make a comment about the cancellation of the festival itself? Would you like to make a comment regarding public reports an agent associated with On the Green Festival using festival branding has been making unprofessional comments on a public forum about the cancellation? These were horrific. They're a key part of today's story. It's really where this turns sad. Their response was, "Hi Jordan, you've caused enough damage. Unfortunately, we're not interested because it won't matter what we say now. Everything we twisted or you put out false information like you already have." So I've not put out any false information. I've literally put out information that bands have given me. I've put out information available publicly. I've put out things in the discourse. I've given them plenty of opportunity to respond and say something particularly is false. They haven't done so. Everything I believe to be true is because it's backed up by multiple sources. Anyway, I think I put this out in this email, so I've said hi once again. Everything we've brought to the public's attention has been factual, confirmed not only by your own words and actions, but also by bands and the public. And that was such an easy transition there. We didn't change video. Confirmed not only by your own words and actions, but also bands and the public. You can pause and read most of this. Essentially, I'm just going through the most significant damage I think they caused is how they've behaved, the entire situation, including their unprofessional nature and the comments of the public forum. I really pushed this down to this. I really wanted to express that what we do is factual, it's evidence based. You pause and have a read. Yeah, so we're back, and I love that. Unfortunately, everything was evidence based. I don't think there was evidence the fact that we twist things or put out false information. Everything we're doing is factual. We're literally going through the emails, and I don't try and twist things either. It's reported as is. You can make your own opinions from it. There you go. I've got a blanked out there for transparency. That was his name. I didn't really feel it's right to put his name out there, so I blanked it out. I've really felt passionate, and this is why this email went out. I think this is the last email we'll receive from them. But yeah, that's how transparent we are. We actually just going to put everything out there, and it's up to the public to see how they feel about it. For us, if we make an opinion, we will say it's an opinion. The facts we put out, facts like some bands were getting paid and some bands weren't. The bands were told not to advertise their time slots or the day that they were playing in favour of weekend ticket sales. At no time were they told up until the cancellation that sales were dwindling. There was a reminder about them posting the event. However, there was restrictions on how they did so, and some of the content was never provided to them. So that's the situation, to make your guys' opinion on what happened. We're just here to base the facts. Said that these segments remind them of something from Family Guy, so I'm actually going to say it. Do you know what really grinds my gears? People trying to misdirect and get away from what we do. We don't cover stuff to what's the right word? We're not out here to ruin people. We're not out here making things up. We're not out here just to bash events, as they put it. I took that quite personally, because what we do is we bring out the public discourse and bring it to the forefront, and we highlight issues that are injustices. And I'll repeat what the injustices are. To be clear, the first one is, it was unjust the way that bands were told not to promote in certain ways. They were told to promote eventually, however it had to be done in a very particular way, and it was quite confusing and convoluted. And certain bands, when they did advertise, were told not to advertise in that particular way. So there was a lot of resilience to advertising. They also didn't push the local bands enough, nor the Monday, and the fact that they wanted to push weekend ticket sales meant that bands couldn't publicise, and that's a misjustice, especially then when you cancelled them all. The misjustice, the fact that some were getting paid, some weren't. Now that is obviously an agreement between bands, and I do get that. Some festivals that happens. That's not the main gripe for me. That's just part of this parcel. And other bands are obviously quite upset about that. But we reported it directly. We looked at the discourse, and as I go through the discourse, all the comments are coming up. Like, I don't do it like, what's the right word? I don't hide anything. Like, it's literally talking through what people's opinions are online. It's obviously an opinion. Some of the bands are stating facts online, and that's what's been brought to the forefront. The way that the organisers spoke to people really just shows, like, if you're looking at defamation of character, that's defamation of your own character, the way that you spoke to the general public. We've got the screenshots, we've gone through them, the way it's really unprofessional. Everything I've said is factual. I've presented the facts to you, so most of it from your own words in emails and things, some of it from bands that are affected, some from ticket holders that are affected. If anything was ever incorrect, it's been redacted. There hasn't been anything like that. The only thing that's changed is everyone's getting a refund now. That's a definite. Everything we've reported is factual. We're not here to bash events. Like, that's why we asked you to ask people for comments. We're not here to do that. Like, we're here to present the facts as is and present the public discourse on a matter that is unjust. And in this situation, there are injustices. I think the one that's affected everybody the most is the unprofessional nature of the organisers and the way people were spoken to, and also the fact that the announcement doesn't deal with the issues at hand. It just moves the blame over. I mean, that's how I feel, and it's really upset me. Like, we do this, it doesn't matter whether you're an event who's causing an injustice to local bands. My next thing I'm looking at is a local space that's under threat by the council, and hopefully we'll find a way to save it. The next story is, as soon as on British Gas, there's always somebody who's benefiting from these injustices being brought forward. The people from the British Gas story, the people affected by British Gas, and also consumers that could be affected by them in the future. The people of this are the bands, the ticket holders, and the general public that you spoke to. They're the people that I'm representing in this case, and it's just bonkers. When we do the next thing, it'll be to try and defend a public space. It's always trying to defend and bring to the forefront a public injustice, and on this occasion we believe that this has been an injustice, and that's why we've brought it up in the most factual way possible. There's been times people have said it's a scam. I've completely denounced that. Very clear, it's a festival. It was never a scam. You know, all of this is factual. We've literally just presented exactly how things were. We've given some opinions on it. We've read other people's opinions on it. So it's a fact when I say that bands feel like this, because the opinions are there online for people to see. It's all in public discourse. It's a fact when I say that the way you were speaking to people was completely unacceptable, because it's all in public discourse. You might have deleted the comments, but the internet saves itself. There's ways to get back into the metadata, and we have screenshots. There is an injustice, and we deal with it in a divergent way. Now, I'm autistic. The reason why we're called Divergent Justice is because we deal with it in a matter-of-fact way, and that's what we've presented the facts. I don't believe there's been any damage caused by this. The only damage caused was the actions of yourself as an organiser and the actions of the whole organisation as On the Green. Those actions are brought to the forefront by us, but that's not damaging. Like, the damage comes from what you did, people could see it, and some of it was done in private, but that's what these investigations look into. It's nothing that you haven't done. If you've done it in private, you still did it. Yeah, that's why we've done this, to make sure that this injustice is heard. There is a space for local bands to be heard, the ticket holders, the general public, and I'll continue to do it. So that covers a lot. I've spoken to, say, a lot of bands, same situations constantly there. There wasn't money confirmed. There was lack of communications going on. Yeah, it's just a lot to unpack. And then all of the comments online. But yeah, I've spoken to quite a few people now, whether it's ticket holders, whether it's bands. You know, there's a lot of discourse online. And that's what I'm reporting and bringing attention to. That's why we're here. The event's cancelled now, so, you know, it's just us looking and being honest of what happened here. This was really, really poorly ran. You know, it's a horrible situation. And what happened with the comments was just, well, it was awful. I'll take a look at some of the stuff the bands have said to me, and some of the stuff they said online. And some of the stuff they said to me in comments. Let's have a look. Got myself at the same time. Hey guys, we're going to flick through some of the stuff that I got screenshots of. Here we go. This is from one of the headline acts. I'm not going to tell you who to protect their privacy. But thanks for the heads up. I thought the whole thing would get cancelled, to be honest, when they said they'd only sold 150 tickets. That was in mid-March. Too late to cancel, they said. Making sure I get the deposit before I travel to the UK. Not nice to use gigs on such a busy weekend. I feel for local bands that don't get to play. And that was from one of the headline acts. There you go, let's read some emails. Hi team, this was one of the bands messaging the guys over on the Green trying to confirm the charge. We did respond to your initial email on the 10th. Might think your spam folders, you've seen that happen a couple of times recently. 45 minutes we charge £100. Also just wanted to check when would the festival be held. So they never actually applied to this. That's what's happened in a lot of these cases, that people mention money, but they just have never actually confirmed payments. They're saying we'll send you individual posters, and send them over. Choose post ticket link of any post that you post. This is them trying to push just individual hand posters. Yeah, so yes, it's just this is the part where they're actually asking bands to give access. And they say it's for advertiser access. So this is quite common for PR companies when you're working with clients directly with bands, but it's a bit uncommon for a festival. I've never actually seen this. I've worked quite a few big festivals. Usually I send a massive press pack with all our tech specs, riders, everything, and it's just, that's it. Never giving them access to our Facebook page. You can pause and read this. This was them passing it over. It's great that they were co-hosts of the event. That should be accepted. That's amazing practice. So there was some access promotion, but on the other side, it wasn't as upwards. We saw a bit earlier. There was a few local band promotion bits, but they didn't seem to push it. Nor did it seem to come across. And I'll show you some emails earlier. Here you go. We ask that you do not announce what date you are on. We will be pushing this weekend ticket. So they're trying to say, don't push the date, don't announce the date, because they want to push it to the weekend tickets. But then they reduced the weekend tickets from 3 days to 2 days, so that makes that even more interesting. And they wanted to take over marketing for them. The bands are really all confused by this. It's not regular practice. I've spoken to quite a few bands, and this really confused them. You can read what they were asking there. Is one of the persons offering to do it for free. So when they say that bands weren't doing it for free, they clearly were. They've spoken to a couple of bands that weren't getting paid. Yeah, you can pause these to read through them. There you go. Again, the same email. And this same this is another act. That basically when they put out a poster with a bit of the branding on because they hadn't received one. A lot of the acts didn't receive the posters. That's another thing that they didn't receive. But they called it and told them to stop. Where is it? Okay, so I want to advertise that using our branding or social styles. We love that you have set our ways for our branding, as there is for all the... I'm really confused here. Basically, they asked them to take down an image that they put out. It was a normal image. It was basically just the branding on. They hadn't received the actual image, so they thought they'd use that. I think it's quite common to try and make something. They'd ask them to take it down. Yeah. There's a lot going on. Here's the Lime Tree's response. Yes, that's fine. We were doing it for the right reasons. We did one last year for Sue Ryder, and also Benefit Gig December last year for Macmillan Nurses in conjunction with local musician and cancer patient Chris Allen, where we raised over $3,000 for them in one night. This went directly to the Peterborough branch, as there was where they goes for treatment. We decided to carry on raising much needed funds for this particular cause. For that reason, Chris Allen is not only performing on the 26th with Sam and Dave, but is also going to be compare throughout the day. The bands have all said they will do it for zero money, although we will look after them with food and drinks. We will have collection boxes going around for the charity on the day, backseat events are supplying the PA, and stage lights at a cost-only price. We have no interest in getting into school ground Facebook battles. They're really, really, really clear on this. I can't believe they got called out. They're doing it for charity for really good reasons. They put the posters there for you. I really recommend going across this. It sounds great. Go to the Lime Tree, support local acts. Yeah, here we go. Charles Manor speaks volumes about the so-called on the green team. They let down the young up-and-coming bands first. We created an opening for those bands to still play on that day alongside more established local musicians. It's going to be a great day. Really go down to the Lime Tree Festival. That was it really, mate. We were told specifically not to advertise the Monday. I don't recall seeing anything to say we couldn't advertise. It appears the communication between all bands varied from comments I've seen. Yeah, there's loads of stuff here. Pause to read it. I've seen a lot of comments. People aren't receiving full refunds. They're not getting booking fees back. Just on various posts. I didn't have tickets, but apparently it was a scam. It wasn't a scam, 100%. I've been told by ticket buyers that they've not received their booking fees back, which is horrendous. Full refunds need to be given. My cat's setting off one of my cameras constantly. Hi, Jordan. Thanks for reaching out. To clarify, you've been speaking with myself. Blank. Redacted. About the festival. We did confirm our booking fee to them, which was £100. Following correspondence from the festival, never addressed or acknowledged it. This, again, is common. I spoke to somebody over the phone. I'm going to put some for audio clips in here as well. But they also put out a fee and kind of guessed that they said yes, but it wasn't in any of the confirmations. They never actually said yes to the fee. And everyone I've kind of asked so far to go back and check, they haven't got a yes to the fee at all. There must be people who have, I'm assuming. But yeah, it wasn't in the booking confirmations that I've seen. Another person here. No, they weren't offered payment. We're not told to not advertise. We're not encouraged either. They were encouraged if they got that email earlier, just to be clear. I saw that. Lack of communications. I was constantly chasing for more information without reply. The band's name was spelled incorrectly at first and took ages to change it. We were asked for a band picture for the website, but it never got used. That happened with a lot of their content, people's contents. Another person here pulled out the festival after the Monday was cancelled. While they confirmed the booking, they didn't actually confirm the fee on looking back at the email thread. Another person didn't confirm the fee. It also seemed a bit dodgy from the start. They were asking us for access for social accounts, which we denied. We've gone through that. We've seen that. It's a fact. All a bit sus, but I do understand that it's a massive undertaking to plan something of that size. These things happen. It's a shame, and that's a good thing. It's just bringing attention to how this happened. And that's the last one. I want to end this on a really, really good note. So the good note will be... yeah, the Lime Tree. Go to the Lime Tree Festival. Go and have a good time there. I've spoken to... I think it's alright to say. I've spoken to the Hoosiers. The Hoosiers are looking to do something local. That's going to be great. Look out for that. Yeah. It's going to be fantastic. There are some good things that have come from this cancellation. It's an absolute shame how this has been handled. It really is. And yeah, we're uncovering it bit by bit. So that's the emails that we've seen, the band communications. I've spoken to other bands as well. It's not just that. One of the recurring patterns that keeps coming up as I speak to bands, I see emails, and I really address all this, is that actually, so there's a bit of a miscommunication around fees. A lot of the bands have sent fees and it's just never been spoken about or confirmed for a lot of them. Some of them it has, but yeah, for quite a few this has happened now where it's just not been discussed afterwards. They've put the fee down, they've sent it to them, and then they've just continued with the booking as if it wasn't there. Definitely some bands weren't getting paid. That was their choice to not get paid and to do it for free. But yeah, some bands definitely were getting paid, potentially, but there's just no confirmation of that. On the booking confirmations, I'll show you in a minute, it doesn't state a fee, which you'd normally see in a booking confirmation. So it's just more to the story. Wonder what you guys think about it. I have reached out to the Mayor of Cambridge and Peterborough, Mr. Paul Bristow. I have a lot of respect for Paul Bristow. I think we've done an absolutely amazing thing as a district, or whatever you call it, where we've elected somebody not based on the party they represent, but just based on the morals and principles that they hold. I have spoken to Paul very, very briefly about the situation, which is why I'm confident in saying that he isn't for it. He's really upset about the things that were said to the public last night, and also he wasn't happy about the bans being cancelled and what happened on the Monday. He's given very, very brief answers to me. I'm not going to share them out of respect for Paul. I've asked him for an official comment. If he sends one of those, I'll give an update. But I feel out of respect for him, I'll leave his comments out of it. But I know that he's definitely in support of the general public here and the bans. I'm hoping at some point he makes that public. But yeah, I've really tried to go for every avenue here to get as much information as possible. This statement, let's have a quick look at that. We'll go through what they said in their statement, the things they're blaming it on, which is the general public. Let's be honest, it's what it comes across as. It's none of the promoters' fault, nothing to do with the fact that the promotion wasn't great, that the local bands weren't promoted and then were cancelled, and all of this happened. Nothing to do with that, but it's all to do with hate, discourse online. And the discourse was bad for a reason. I think that's the bit that's not being accepted nor acknowledged. Here, let's have a look. Finally released a statement about the On the Green cancellation. It blames people's perception of the festival, people thinking it's a scam, and hate and all these things as the reason why they had to cancel. It does mention they had a lack of ticket sales. In reality, I think that's the reason why they had to cancel. That's the inevitable thing. That's how it all comes down to. But here, let's read through it together. Hi everyone, as you may have seen yesterday, we announced that On the Green Festival has been cancelled. Before we got any more hate, come on. We wanted to make sure that refunds were our priority, and all ticket companies are now processing refunds. I have heard that some are struggling, some people aren't getting their booking fees back, but I'm sure that will get fixed. Since making the announcement, it has sparked even more negativity, and this has been a constant thing that we've had to deal with from day one. Why? They're blaming the cancellation on negativity? This event was never a scam, a lot of people would like to think, and we're now walking away from investing £30,000 for the main act deposits and on infrastructure as well, money spent on marketing. Unfortunately, we had nearly £20,000 of event stipulations placed on us by the events team for the embankment that left us with no option but to look at cutting some costs somewhere, which led to looking at sales per day and reducing them to 2 days. Then we also had the choice to reduce our event capacity from 5,000 to 3,000. I'm not sure they were anywhere near that event capacity. That's my view on it. I've been trying my hardest to get hold of as many ticket holders as possible to see how close that was. It'd be interesting to see how many ticket sales were actually sold and was anywhere near 3,000 or 5,000 people per day. With all these constant changes, it's been very challenging and put a lot of strain on the event that no one will understand to even try and advertise, as well as focusing on making the event go ahead and making it a success for the city. After all this, due to not hitting sales needed in the time frame needed due to the lack of support for the event, the lack of the support was coming from what happened with local acts and what the way you were communicating with people, very much displayed from last night and the comments that I'm going to be showing that you've deleted from certain pages. Events were, after all this, due not hitting ticket sales. That's the answer, really. You didn't hit ticket sales within the time we needed due to the lack of events rely on ticket sales when we wanted nothing but to grow this event and rely on put people on the map. We'd like to thank for the support. There was loads of bits in between. Yeah, it's a very disappointment for it to have to cancel altogether. But to blame it on people and the lack of support and all of this is just not. It's just not taking accountability for your own actions, especially when it comes to advertising, when it comes just to normal ticket sales, when it comes to these issues that have been raised and not commented on them, the way you've acted publicly after the cancellation. None of that is mentioned. Let me flip the camera. Yeah, none of that is mentioned at all. I'd love to hear your side of the views. Everyone's got opinions or views on this. Please get in contact with us. I'm putting the episode together. I think I'm going to release it tomorrow because so much has come forward, especially these comments made on Facebook. And now the statement. Yeah, my reaction to it is a bit saddening. Yeah, really saddening. Because A, that it's a cancellation, it is sad for the city, and B, it doesn't really answer any of the concerns people have had. But yeah, that's the statement, and Divergent Justice. think the main part of this story, and I've been really trying to think of, like, get my thoughts together, what's the worst parts of it. And the worst part of this story is that the way that people have been spoken to, the way that people were spoken to online, the way the bands were treated, and the general treatment of ticket holders, the general public, and bands. And even me, it's so unprofessional, so uncalled for. And yeah, I feel like that's the problem. That is really, really the problem that we have. Is that, and that's where the focus should be of this whole thing. The way that people have been treated by the organisers. We'll go through a couple of clips just to back that up right now. Attention to this, just this one bit for now. I'll read it out to you. It says, the negativity in this city is shocking. Was better to walk away than ever bother. Just what you think. Something would be great for my hometown. Never seen so many keyboard warriors in my life. Personally, I'm ashamed to call this my hometown. My objection to this is it seems like the blame is being put on the public discourse. And of course, that's certainly not a reason to cancel an event. There's so much to unpack here from all of these comments. These are on the Peterborough Telegraph page. Yeah, it's such a bizarre turn of events. Yeah, looking forward to going through them in a couple of days with you. Through some of the comments from the On the Green Festival on this Peterborough Telegraph page. I'm quite shocked by some of these. They've all been deleted now. Not all of them. Some of them have been deleted. But yeah, let's go through them. So to the response to one of people's responses saying that the advertising and the profile have been deleted was, yes, the advertising has been deleted because it's been cancelled. How stupid are you people? What a way to speak to the local public, to people who could have brought tickets. Someone replied, you can turn off ads. They said, your page is not deleted. Lol, we just removed the info. You are funny. Your attitude is gross. No wonder it flopped. Yeah, I agree. This is absolutely astonishing behaviour, especially in a public forum. But you're funny. Someone put, if you say so. Reading the replies, it was comments, so wonder anyone would want to work with them in the future. Honestly, supporting zero social skills or awareness. And they put, no, you are funny. Oh, it's just childish. Please feel free to pause these if you want to read them in more depth. Someone say about refunds not happening. They are happening. It's not a scam, just so you all are aware. Like, it's 100% was a festival. It was booked in. The headline acts were booked. I've spoken to some of them. This festival was going ahead. It has now been cancelled. That's the situation. Tickets are being refunded because the event's been pulled, and ticket places refund when events have been pulled. So 4 ticket companies, so look at your confirmation and see which ticket company was the transaction went through. God, people just want to moan for no reason, don't they? Wow, what a way to speak to someone inquiring about how to refund the tickets. Yes, and they will all keep the booking fee. And they probably, I don't know if they will. They probably will refund the booking fee, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I'll look into it. Nothing surprises me anymore in the city. No market, shops closes. This someone was actually kind of in support of it, saying that nothing surprises her with things shutting, and they reply, the negativity in this city is shocking. It was better to walk away than even bother. Just when you think something would be great for my hometown. Never seen so many keyboard warriors in my life. Personally, I'm ashamed to call this my hometown. What a way to speak to someone who's trying to speak in support of you. At least I didn't call it a scam, and even you have to admit it was a bit late to pull the plug. And their response to that was, we was backing your comment up. Problem is, people in the city just want to moan. If the support is not there, it's never too late to pull. Well, I mean, I feel like it is too late at this point. It should have been pulled weeks ago and you knew it wasn't succeeding. And this is people's comments that are mentally attitude on display now, blaming negative attitudes in the city, and a bunch of bands being sold a dream. Yeah, I've got them also. In fact, you know what? I have that email here. Remind me, I'll show you at the end. You've seen it already in the whole of this piece. I personally think it was never going ahead. It was definitely going ahead. And then someone then put the lack of transparency from the outset put a lot of people off. And they put, if you say so, and so many people do so. Not seeing any excuses as to why it's cancelled though. Any organiser worth their salt would at least explain to people exactly why all their plans and such like have been messed around. And they're like, did you buy a ticket? If you say so. This is all just so... Yeah. Someone put, all started to go wrong when they cancelled the Monday, and in doing so, the local talented bands and musicians, many of them who turned down other paid gigs to perform for free at this event. It's been a train wreck. Their response was, turn down paid gigs to perform for free. Maybe get your facts right before opening your mouth. wow. Just wow, the aggression in that. The bands were getting paid, but they weren't. I've you've seen from this report, some of the bands were definitely not getting paid. That is completely false right there. Oh, and here you go, Christopher Hicks. Actually, yeah, I don't know if did he post the original one? No, Dan Nichols did. Christopher Hicks, no, they weren't. I was one of the bands, and I'm friends in some of the others. This is true. You saw Christopher Hicks in one of our earlier posts, and the first segment, he's in there. Maybe he was not getting paid, but we have an email confirming what fee the band requested. You want to see it? Yeah, I mean, I've seen some email chains between On the Green and other bands that weren't getting paid. I have seen some where they were getting paid too. So it's a mixture of both. Some weren't getting paid for sure, some were, and they all did turn down better paid work. That's the true headline of that, and the true statement is they all turned down better, or some of the bands turned down better paid work. And the ones that were getting paid weren't getting paid their usual fees. Down the one time there was going to be more than 3 people on the embankment, and it's not going to happen. Yeah, a lot of people feel like this. Where are we at now? Source news, why is it cancelled? There'll be old news by Friday. Face page deleted by the looks of it too. Called this as a scam from the start, and so people just jumped on me. Yes, the advertising was deleted because it's been cancelled. How stupid are you people? I then eventually responded to this is a bit from the start, and I said, looks like you're keeping up that level of professionalism you've had the whole time. I'm just humouring the keyboard warriors, was their response. Where is it? There was responses here, and I responded, do you mean the bands, the ticket holders, bands and members of the local public? Is there anything in here that I've missed? Oh, cool. Okay, this is the first part of it. If you want to pause that, I did show it earlier. Okay, she's a recap. I actually love what I do, bringing to the public. I'm sure you will find something better to do with your time one day. But I actually love what I do, bringing attention to public injustices, raising awarenesses of neurodivergence, travelling alongside my own successful music career. I couldn't think of anything better. I really can't. I love doing what I do. Better to be doing my time. I wish you all the best in your future endeavours, is what I put. And I hope that you are and I hope they're the more successful than this one, which I think is a very fair comment. They responded to that. Here we go. And they responded, if bashing events makes you happy, then we wish you all the best. Let's make sure I've not missed any of these ones here. I think they're all the same ones I've gone through. Feel free to pause and go through. I'm just trying to make sure these don't get deleted, because they were deleted. So quickly though, this one was deleted that I couldn't respond. But here is my response. I wouldn't call it bashing, but I do like bringing attention to injustices, especially in the communities around me. Both the local community and the local music community have a strong place in my heart. I also do things for national stories. One of the next big stories we have is on British gas. But this has a real strong place in my heart because of the local communities and the local bands affected. All I've done is brought attention to public discourse, the inside scoop on how it affected the public and the local acts. And now some of the national acts in this segment. A report on the unjust actions and communications of the festival is displayed publicly and privately with the acts. I'll happily name a bunch of promoters that do really good things for the city, including give a national platform to local artists. Although I wouldn't make a report on them, as the whole focus of Divergent Justice is in precisely that, injustices. If anyone wants to do, there's loads under Sin Central, Strictly Soulful, Mixology. I'm sure I'm missing more. There's loads more. Bringing national acts whilst also promoting local acts. Like it's happening all over the place and successfully. The last Under looked absolutely crazy. It really looked successful in every sense of the word. It's always in support of someone though, what we do. In this case, it's in support of the ticket holders, bands and general public. The next may well be in support of a venue or an event facing an injustice. It may well be. We will keep doing what we're doing, including exploring the public interest, the events leading up to and after today's cancellation. Thank you, though. Including these events that we're talking about now. Thank you, Divergent Justice. And that's where it kind of ends. Yeah. It's so upsetting that it's come to this. Some of these that people have sent me. So this is them saying, you want a free show at the light? No, where does this start? Hang on. Here we go. but they've not sold enough tickets. Congratulations, you won a prize. What do I win? Bit obvious the reason, really. And they said, you won a free show at the Lime Tree, Monday the 26th for their band's Green Festival. For charity, or is it? Or are they just writing off the word charity to fill their own pockets? That's a really large accusation to make. Absolutely crazy. I've shown some of these in the other ones. Where's the bit where they reply to that? It's the Lime Tree applying. It's the Lime Tree Green Festival, and it's for a local charity because we are called the Lime Tree. If you would like to donate, you're more than welcome to pop in. It's also free entry. So clearly, quite clearly, they've gone into this. They then posted it on another post. Kind of proves a point when Neem Park Trust can't sell a £10 ticket to a silent disco. Really, really just laying it in, so unprofessional. Yes, the advertising was deleted because I've shown you this one. Yeah, there you go. Absolutely ridiculous. You can pause to read some of those. What a way to treat customers. Through and have a look at some of these. There's just people reacting. Feel free to pause it. Yeah, look at this. Who are reacting completely. It is a whole fiasco. Monday being cancelled. The fact they didn't discount tickets to compensate because the treatment of the cancelled acts just doesn't sit right with people. And that's one more people who are playing. We'll keep going through. Feel free to pause it. Sorry, I should let you pause it. They had taken down the whole page for an evening before bringing it back again. I don't know about the TENS licensing. That's not something I've investigated, nor do I believe it's true. I don't think you can get this far with an event without it being a licensed event. And again, this isn't a scam. I've said it again and again. This is not a scam. This was a real event. It's just gone wrong. So this was actually, this is the organizer right here. As they say at the zoo, don't feed. This was on We Love Peterborough page. As they say at the zoo, don't feed the animals. Remember, you can't please everyone. Just do what you do. If they don't like it, then keep going. When I pull a call out for bands, not one of them were a rock band, says a lot. That's not true. That's not true. Keep this up. Definitely a rock band. There's a couple of the people on the lineup are definitely a rock band. Go back through and have a look at the lineup. You'll see there's rock bands, so that's wrong. Says a lot. Not once has it been requested in 6 months of when the event was announced again. There's a lot, actually, if you flick back, of people saying we're better with a diverse lineup. That's actually been a common bit of feedback. Again, says a lot. Maybe that's why he's now sat at the keyboard rather than being supported. Yeah, well, you know, that's how you feel. Showing a complete and utter lack of respect for any of the public of Peterborough, any of, like, the bands, any of the ticket holders. It's bizarre the way that they've reacted to this. Alright, it's dark outside now. I realised that cut off, so it's so sad to put up with this and to see it. It's a massive blow for the local community. It's so sad to see this. And the way people are being spoken to, some of them may well be from bands, ticket holders. It kind of is a continuation from everything that we've discussed so far in our other videos and the videos that are attached to this one. Yeah. Thank you so much for getting the views that you have, guys. Divergent Justice here. We'll keep doing what we're doing. It's just a shame that this went this way. Yeah, love you all. Thank you. I can't believe it's like 2,500 views on the last video. We'll keep making the content for you. We have some really cool stuff coming up about British Gas. We're also just investigating something else locally. Yeah, so it's all fantastic. We're really looking forward to bringing more to you. And yeah, we've just set up all the socials as well. So give us a like and follow on the Divergent Justice page. And we'll catch you soon. What's going on behind the scenes of it all. It's the fallout again that I think the attention needs to be brought to. The bands mostly are all sorted. Some are playing a gig. Here we aren't. Some are playing a gig at the Lime Tree. It's going to be like they've sorted themselves out as a community. It's absolutely beautiful how the local music community came together to rebook everything into 2 new festivals. What an amazing idea. It's just a shame that all this has happened. Yeah, I feel sorry for the ticket holders and I hope everyone gets their refunds. There's obviously some claims around booking fees. I hope you guys get them back. Yeah, it's been a journey. absolutely a journey. I'm hoping this is the end of it. But yeah, that's the situation with On the Green Festival. It's not as it seemed at first sight. This cancellation they've put out blaming the public, and then at least they admitted the ticket sales are dwindling, but it still didn't quite answer some of the questions that the public have been asking, some of the worries they had. Yeah, I feel for the organisers, of course I do. The reaction that you had to us, the reaction you had to the bands, the way you treated public members on Facebook. It's really hard to sympathise with you when you're willing to do that. Yeah, back to the studio. Yeah, so there's a couple of things in the investigation that definitely came forward that I definitely want to go back to. One of them is a lot of the band says that they were told not to promote, and I think that comes from the earlier messages. What I've discovered is that yes, 100% they weren't told, that it wasn't a clear communication. I can quite clearly see, as you've seen there, they were definitely told and encouraged to promote. There was mixed messaging, starting from the original message that said, please do not promote, do not use any other band images, use only our stuff. Some of them didn't receive it. The whole really confusing Facebook access that some of them felt uncomfortable to do. All of that was the promotion issue that they were discussing online. It wasn't necessarily that they were told not to promote, is that there was restrictions on promoting that would cause the issues. Beyond that, also, yeah, the payment issues. I've seen so much in the payment issues, and as I look deeper into that, it's more convoluted. Yes, definitely, for sure, some bands were getting paid, some bands weren't. But when I've looked deeper into that, kind of what I've seen is that there was payments discussed sometimes, and it was ignored quite a few occasions. None of the confirmations said any fees on them. And maybe there is some bands that have a bit of confusion around it. I haven't seen every band's emails. Some were definitely getting paid, but some weren't. Although it does feel like it was their choice. And as a promoter, we all do some things for promoters for free. I know I do some. I don't think that was ever the problem. I think the problem was the transparency. The problem was how they got treated. And especially when they told bands to take down posts and things like that. But it does bring us to this conclusion. And it's been a real long journey. We've covered so much of stuff. How we got here, whether it was the original announcement of the cancellation that affected the bands, their payments issues, then the issues with the tickets being reduced from 3 days to 2. That was a huge thing for consumers and ticket holders. The fact that terms and conditions said that there were no refunds despite the reduction in the days. The way they treated us, saying that we had misinformation despite us giving the evidence as we present. All of this stuff that's happened, the way they spoke to people online. However, I want to leave us on the most positive note, and it's the way that the Peterborough community has come together around this issue. It's amazing to see how the local live bands have set up 2 gigs, not 1 but 2. One that's going on at Here We Aren't. Is that the play? What's it called? Yeah, Here We Are. And one that's going on at the Lime Tree that we've discovered. 2 festivals born out of this issue. The local music community going, we're not going to deal with this, we're going to sort this out ourselves. It's beautiful to see. The local community, reacting the way they are together. I've exposed and I've shown a lot during this whole video and the whole series. But the key here and the positive takeaway is that the true strength that lies in the Peterborough community, politicians that represent Peterborough, musicians of Peterborough, and the way you've all come together, it just fills me full of so much happiness. The feedback on this has been absolutely great. The way that we've moved forward has been beautiful, and that's what the promoters should be looking at. They've made mistakes, their event flopped. Instead of blaming it on everybody else, they should be looking at the failures that they did internally, some of which I've exposed here, some of which is no one's privy to but the organisers themselves. But they should at least be acknowledging the positivity that's come out of it, how the local bands have got together to form these 2 events rather than going online like they have and slating them. It's been a long journey, but the positive side of it at the end is so impactful, and that's what empowers me to continue. What's coming up next? We're going to be exploring British gas and the issue with British gas, our national story that currently is we've got to keep quiet because of certain legal issues that we're just trying to work with them. It's mainly because we have a case against them, and we're trying to resolve that case before we go and do the full report on it. But we have so much from so many different people. There's been a massive error, and we can't wait to bring it and go through it on the Divergent Justice series. Our next local bit is going to be about a really, really good eco-friendly environmental space that's under threat. So we're going to be protecting places next, and hopefully, we can get justice when it comes to that. Thank you guys for watching. Here's the outro. I knew the video broke for some reason. I knew there was a reason why this keeps happening. The Husiers are doing a free gig at Oakham, at Rockabye Records, an amazing record shop owned by awesome people, some really close friends of mine. And the Husiers are going to play there for free. Absolutely amazing news. This is another great, gorgeous story to come out of there. So May the 24th, the same day they were due to play in Peterborough, head on down to Oakham to Rockabye Records to see the Husiers. It's an intimate place as well, so this couldn't have worked out better. So that's such a positive end to this story. I love it when bands pull together. One of the biggest things is how the local scene has pulled together, and now the national scene. Wow, I'm just... really taken back by the positive end to this story. Yes, organisers can do what they do, but in the end, it's us as a community, us as humans, and us as people who will also always persevere. Brings an end to the On the Green saga. Was justice served? The way we measure justice is simple. Do people, are they aware of the situation? Will it help them inform to make choices in the future? Yeah. And therefore, Divergent Justice is served.